Yeah, we got hacked. 'Twas not fun. I've heard about the experience, but it's very fucking alarming. But for me, it's alarming in a very unique sense. Because first and foremost, this is a pop culture, respect, critique, analysis channel. And I've always debated taking the game out of there. But the problem with that brand recognition is two things. Number one, there's already a Token podcast, just like there's already a Token Games podcast. However, Token Games podcast, if you remember from those early years, don't actually discuss game. It's a group of people that stream and talk about games in Portuguese, but the show title is in English. I don't get it. I've tried contacting them about it. I don't know what can be done or anything, but it is what it is. But what made this one seem unique was the fact that these people, if it was even a plural, had the audacity to throw up a bunch of Trump-related shit all over the channel and bring up Fox News repeatedly. Two things of which I and most of the people who've ever been on my channel are allergic to. I don't know, something about that orange ball sack for a neck that Trump has just gives me the ick and the rashes and the STDs, as the kids would say. And I felt it was very strange because normally when someone steals a channel, they want the monetization, aka the money, of which there isn't any. As mentioned, I've never been of the mindset of doing this not necessarily as a career, but as a way to get my direct forthcoming income. Collectively, and I've never been shy about this, since this channel is not meant to have an entire career behind it and support people, I don't think we've even grossed $100. In fact, I know we haven't because you can't pull out any money from YouTube gross and revenue until you hit $100. Last I checked, we're at 35. Yeah, I've had ridiculous growth spurts, but I think it's more of a situation of there are specific types of videos that I make that has its own audience, or it's leftover people from the Spotify podcast, which unfortunately I don't update as frequently as I should, even though it got a lot easier about a year and a half ago because you can put videos up there. But what gets me is that it feels like this was a targeted attack. Now, for those who don't fuck with me or Danielle and Lisa's Instagram, and for those who aren't aware, now you are, my Instagram is essentially not a solo account. It's me, my old friend Lisa, and we don't know what's really going on with Danielle, but she's been kind of quiet. There were 3 possible people who could have done this. Now, I won't name their names directly, but the first one being my ex-girlfriend, who was a devout, obsessive Republican who thought she was good at hiding it. Well, at least apparently she was to me, but to be fair, I wasn't looking. That was bad on me. And all my friends caught it, and they were trying to set up situations and scenarios where she could out herself in front of me, because apparently the feeling was I wouldn't believe them, or because she was a goth and she was actually tall, that was going to override my logic circuits in my brain. Listen, we all have weaknesses in life. Republicans are not my weakness. So eventually it came out, and there was a conversation had in public, and she eventually tried to brush it off and said, well, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do nothing. Which, if that was true, that would make me bitch made. And as my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my sister, my sister, my other sister, my other sister, my other sister, my other sister will tell you, I'm not bitch made. So I just calmly excused myself from the party. She yelled something like, you ain't about to do nothing, while I'm going out the door. And then 30 seconds later, she's trying to come running down the street. But as we all know, goths like to wear shoes that make people think that they're tall. So without even picking up a jogging pace, I calmly outran her by walking. She tripped and fell. I heard crying. I kept going. I asked her a few days later, do I have any belongings in her place? She said yes. I said, cool. Can you leave them outside in about 5-6 hours, or tell me where they are now? Go get them. It didn't go over well when I showed up. Second person, well, it's more like I have a gay fanboy who is also a racist, Trump-obsessed Republican, the traditional MAGA, by the name of Nathan Oliver. I'll name him specifically because fuck you, Nathan Oliver. So Nathan Oliver is a guy I met in the military, specifically when I was in advanced individual training, which I don't know why they call it advanced individual training when you don't train alone, but that's neither here nor there. We thought he was cool, and then we learned very quickly that he was an ignorant jackass with his head up his ass and sucking the proverbial penis of the Republican Party as an entirety. if you are Republican, you are right, and if you are not, you are wrong. Now, I did not bully or harass him, but he kept saying stupid shit on my page, Facebook specifically. And every single time he went away butthurt, didn't say anything, and occasionally he would pop up in things that he wasn't involved in, or conversations where no one cued him in, and do or say some implied fucked up shit. Like when Kyle Rittenhouse got off the first time he got, near arrested, this motherfucker showed up in the middle of a conversation that had nothing to do with Kyle Rittenhouse and started putting up Kyle Rittenhouse memes. More recently, something happened with Trump, and I tagged him and a bunch of other people that I went to the military with to show that this guy is still around, obsessively fucking with me, and how he was obsessively looking at my story and my For You page and all this other meme shit I would put up without directly interacting with it. The day I took him off of my story, we checked, because it was like a few months later, to see if I gave him privileges back to look at my story. Within less than 5 minutes, he was looking at my shit. However, do I think he has the mental acumen to pull something like this off? I mean, no, the dude's white passing and he doesn't even know what that even fucking means. He literally looks like some version of Homer Simpson if he was a wife beater. And the final person, well, might not necessarily be a person or a group, but as I've mentioned, I have a long history of embarrassing Republicans because they keep thinking, here's your opinion versus my opinion. No, here is where you're fucking up, whether you realize it or not. Here is certifiable/verifiable proof. Then half of them don't want to read it because, why would they? And then I show it to them or recite it out loud that this is their ideology. Now, I've been doing this for decades, before Trump. And just to be clear, it's not about left versus right. It's about dumb versus smart. It's about money versus no money. It's about people who want things to play fair and people who don't want fair play. Okay? And you can only teach so many people this shit before they comprehend it. The Republicans have stereotypes about the left and the left have stereotypes about Republicans. But without a doubt, the Republicans' biggest strength, which is actually a weakness, is that they can usually get unified behind one idiot. The left doesn't have that luxury because too many people want things to get done their way, specifically 1-to-1 exactly, and they don't understand the concept of a Cold War because some people see if you are not 100% like me, you are my enemy, and think that that's how shit should work. So the left isn't wrong so much as it's not as organized as they think it is. But hopefully with people like Trump, he's doing a real good job at breaking down those barriers. Yeah, there's going to be some infighting, but there's always going to be infighting. However, ours leads to less effectual change. And of course, there's always going to be sellouts in politics. But I just want to let you know something, whoever did this. You derailed about 7 videos. Some of them are going to be compressed into one long video or one short video or 2 or 3 so I can get caught up on my back catalog. I'm supposed to be having a conversation about what is Larkin Love, because essentially, even though she's a porn star, that's not the problem with her. The problem is there's something wrong in that brain of hers, and she is essentially grifting for no reason and scamming her own fan base for no reason. She could already get the money. She was already getting money, but I guess maybe she's burning through it because she doesn't have any financial responsibility or concept of a retirement plan. I don't know. The selling out of Dave Chappelle and how it wasn't really selling out because he was always like this, and the actual selling out of Bill Burr and compare and contrast it. But see, now what's going to happen is I'm still going to do those things. I'm going to probably change the format, but I'm now going to randomly, whenever I can or whenever I can find something worthy of it, bring up some left-wing ideology, even more than I normally do, as well as have links to various things or charities that might help things that Republicans hate, like Palestine, or logic, reasoning, reality, actually protecting children, fighting against gun violence relating to, child slaughter, all the things that they lie to themselves about, And please remember, whoever did this, you need to understand this declaration. I'm about to be your biggest hater. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you even act like a bitch. Fuck you. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program.